You know the crazy thing about betrayal? It never comes from your enemies. Let's talk about it. What's up, everybody? My name is Joe Corley. I am on a healing journey. And on that journey, I discovered the power of vulnerability. Vulnerability allows us to be our authentic selves. It allows us to build empathy for others and to work through our emotions easier and strengthen our most important relationships. The purpose of this show is to bring others on that same healing journey with me and foster some healing out there in the world. Welcome to Vulnerability is the New Sexy. You should imagine this for a second. For years and years, you are getting up in support of someone every single time they need you. They call, they cry, anything, you get up, you're there. You support everything that they're doing. You're just a really great person or friend in their lives. And then, listen, you yourself start to go through it. You're going through it bad, worse than you've ever gone through it before. Tragedies are occurring in your life. Adversities are occurring in your life. And you're at a point where you might need some support. And you go to this person and you tell them like, hey, I could really use some support. I'm going through a lot, And the response is, I don't have the capacity to be there for you right now. How would that make you feel? How would it make you feel? Is that person selfish? Or did they just beat you to the boundary? Let's talk about it. So this happened to me. And it kind of sent me spiraling. It's kind of something that's been happening to me a little more frequently in the last couple of years than it's ever happened to me in my life over the span of my lifetime. So I say that just to give you a picture of, imagine this happening over and over and over and over and over again in like a 2-year time frame. And these are significant people in your life, not just every run of the mill person, that you've helped or supported, people that actually matter to you in a real deep way and that you thought mattered. You thought you mattered to them. So what do you do? Like, how do you, it sent me spiraling when this happened to me recently and it caused me to kind of shut down for a little bit and like really reevaluate. First the shutdown is sad. Like, I mean, there's sadness. I'm not going to lie to you. Like, you go into a real sad space and you start to, here comes the self-deception. You start telling yourself things that aren't necessarily true, but in your current state of mind, it's more comfortable to believe that than it is to, deal with the truth. So in self-deception, you're telling yourself, oh, nobody loves me. You start questioning your self-worth. You start, really having a hard time finding motivation. How do you get up every day? When you think the world doesn't really care if you're in it or want you in it, So I personally, I started spiraling like, wow, this is just not what's going on. two things I really wanted to know is, why is this occurring so much? First of all, and I really wanted to know, why am I so bothered by it? Like, what is going? I mean, I had to just really start questioning whether or not, a lot of things come to mind. Like, did I consistently choose the wrong people to be in my life? Is there something just very wrong with me that nobody wants to stick around and be in your life? And I'm intentionally saying nobody, because those, that's the, you're going way outside, like, making it really way bigger than it actually is. Like, nobody, if somebody starts saying words like nobody and always and never, you know, it's usually, dealing in some deep, illogical thought at this point. And for me, that's where I mean, in this moment, this is where I was. So what do you do? Start answering these questions. You have to really kind of step back. First is, if some of the conclusions I came to is, hey, if you are not going to show up authentic, then, or avoid vulnerability, which something that, believe it or not, I have done for a good majority of my life. And those two things, I like to wear a mask. I used to like to wear a mask, and I avoided vulnerability with a lot of people. Um, so, people show up how you allow them to show up. So I have to take accountability for that part. Is it selfish? In the situation I'm describing, to be perfectly honest, I'm still trying to figure it out. But if I have to give an honest answer in this moment, I'd say it's both selfish and a valid boundary. I say that because I feel confident in the way that I showed up in this relationship. Um, if you understand, and I communicate to you how I'm feeling and what I might need in the moment, and you in return tell me you can't give me what that is, give me that need or provide that need, I can respect that. Now, I didn't get the opportunity to even say what I needed. All I said was how I felt. And before I could even say, I could use this, or I need, basic support or a minimum amount of support, I was already being told I don't have the capacity. So in that, like I said, valid boundary, also pretty selfish. But hey, what do you put in the comments? What do you think? I don't know. Tell me in the comments. What do you think? Is it selfish, or is it a valid boundary? I mean, let's really talk about that. When people expect you to show up for them in their time of need, and you just don't have it, but they've showed up for you time and time again. There's an argument to be had about, hey, if you show up for somebody, you shouldn't expect anything in return. And I also believe that is valid. If you are someone who has consistently showed up for someone time and time again, that's a choice you made. Now, you might have had an unreasonable expectation of what your relationship or your friendship might be. Or maybe you had a misrepresented expectation about what your friendship or your relationship was. Which one is it? Still trying to figure it out. So let's just, for the sake of conversation, say I was expecting to have this person in my life just give me the basic, how are you? Are you okay? And I didn't even receive that. Okay. And remember, I told you, every single time I was needed, I showed up. for, several years, you know. So am I unreasonable or what? But again, that person's behavior is out of my control. So because it's out of my control, you know, I can't wait. I can't dwell on whether or not they're going to do what they're supposed to do. And this is a lesson, again, that I'm learning over and over and over again. How do you take care of yourself is the question. How can you intrinsically motivate yourself to be okay when you feel abandoned, hurt, betrayed? How do you take care of yourself in your moments when you're struggling with grief, fear, adversity is slapping you in the face left and right, and you reach out and you get your hand slapped. Something is missing from the sauce. Something is missing. And you have to I have actively done the work to try to figure out what that is. Since this moment that I had, I've been in therapy a couple times, and I've been asked my therapist a few times, why is it that this is bothering me so much? Why does this person over here make me so angry? Why does this person over here make me so sad? Why does that matter if I have this person, this person, this person who consistently show up for me? Why am I so bothered by those who don't? That's the question. That's the question to ask. What is it? What are the external factors that allow someone outside of your body and outside of your trusted circle to cause you harm? Some people are, beautifully unbothered. God bless you. Some of us are human, and we get hurt. And not to say that you're not human for being unbothered. That's everybody doesn't have that skill. Everybody doesn't have that skill. But I crave it. Like I said, I actively go to work to be unbothered. But you know what really does help cope for me is rigorous honesty to myself. I talk to myself with rigorous honesty about the relationships that I have, who I have them with. How did I show up? The first thing I like to do is always take accountability for my role in a relationship. And I have to be and it doesn't help me to try to justify any of my own actions or justify how I show up. That doesn't help. I have to be honest. Wow. I really might have did all these things for the wrong reason. I might have, just kept showing up for this person over and over again for some selfish personal gratification or some unhealthy level of codependency. Because, if I'm a person that needs to be needed, which, it kind of fits me a little bit. I'm a person that needs to be needed. I go out and put myself in positions to be needed to help me cope. And really avoid some of the trauma and some of the other mental issues that I have to process, that I've had to process my whole life. And I've never got around to it until it was absolutely necessary for me to do. And that's partially part of the reason why I show up the way I do in some of these relationships, possibly. It's also very true. Some people are just mean. Some people are just mean and selfish, and it says more about them than it does about me, how they show up. I have to take that seriously. When you analyze and when you push towards vulnerability and you are more and becoming more and more aware of how you want to show up and you start showing up authentically and honest, guess what? That accountability, you gotta ease up on yourself a little bit. Hey, I was real right here. This is really how I want it to be. This is really how I want it to be. So I don't understand. If I'm really, really drilling it down and looking at it, I don't feel like I did anything wrong here. That's just me. If I'm being honest with myself. So what's really going on? Why are you, being disrespectful or deciding to remove yourself from my life? If you being authentic, I'm being authentic. Maybe we're just not supposed to be in each other's lives, and that's okay. That's okay. Show up authentic. The people that are supposed to be around will fit authentically. They will fit authentically like a puzzle piece. No square pegs going in a star hole, something like that. Well, look, that's all I got for today. I hope that y'all have conversations around that. I want you to subscribe, before you go. If especially if you're watching this on YouTube, you're listening to this on whatever platform that you listen to podcasts on, subscribe, follow me. You can follow me on TikTok and Instagram at Vulnerability is the New Sexy. That's also my channel name on YouTube. Like I said, subscribe, drop me some likes and talk to me in those comments. Yeah. Remember, vulnerability is the pathway to healing. I'm out.